A view that seems to go on forever, as far as the eye can see, hundreds of kilometers of white sandy beaches, a heavenly coastline where a French couple chose to settle 10 years ago. In Villancoulos, Denis and Sabrina run a hotel and a diving club. This morning they're waiting for a group of tourists to go out to sea.
Ça se passe bien. Ben, on va aller plonger sur les îles là-bas. Donc il y a une petite heure de bateau, il y a 2 plongées, il y a votre pause déjeuner sur l'île de Bazaroto. Vous allez voir, c'est absolument extraordinaire. Et bon, on va essayer de rendre les gens contents comme d'habitude, hein, c'est notre boulot.
Today, Denis' customers are French people living in South Africa. Down a few steps and at high tide, they have direct access to the boat and the open sea. Denis' playground, the Bazaruto archipelago, just opposite the hotel offshore, an exceptional seabed.
On a un trou dans le récif ici, donc c'est un jacuzzi à requins. Si on a de la chance, on les aura.
On my count. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Underwater, a rich diversity. 3/4 of the Indian Ocean's species are present in this area. Visitors come from all over the world to experience the thrill of exploring these reefs. As Denis had hoped, the sharks are here. The Bazaruto Islands are classified as a natural park and are protected from mass tourism.
Bienvenue sur Bazaruto.
A snorkeling workshop in crystal clear waters. Denis takes us back to where his adventure first began. It was here that he fell in love with Mozambique, with its beauty and wilderness. At the top of the dune, a breathtaking view.
Voilà, c'est ça le délire de la dernière seconde. Regarde, c'est pas magnifique. C'est le vertige, c'est le moment où tu as envie de sauter. Et c'est ici que j'ai pris mon téléphone et que j'ai appelé ma douce et que je lui ai dit écoute, on va s'installer au Mozambique. Quand tu vois un truc pareil, je sais pas si tu as vu ça souvent dans ta vie, moi non.
A love at first sight for a country that has much hiding behind its beautiful landscapes. Mozambique has a turbulent history. Marked by tragedy, its demons have come back to haunt them. Mozambique, Southeast Africa, 2,500 kilometers long and a population of 30 million. A unique sign to be on a national flag, a kalashnikov, a symbol of the country's tragic history. They endured a long war of national liberation against the colonial power Portugal, which led to independence in 1975. The communist guerrillas then came to power. This was followed by a terrible civil war lasting 17 long years. Against the backdrop of the Cold War, almost 1 million people died before the 1992 peace agreement. Mozambique thought its days of war were over, but in recent years, the reappearance of insurgents has disturbed the north of the country. In this Muslim-majority region, jihadist groups have pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. Supported by foreign powers, a few thousand fighters ravaged the country. More than 3,000 people were killed and 800,000 displaced. The refugees have been living in camps for over a year now, where resources are in short supply. The Rwandan military were called in to help. Among the most skilled on the African continent, they succeeded in retaking the Caliphate's soldiers' strongholds in just a few weeks. But peace remains fragile. The enemy is still ever present.
The enemy is trying to concentrate, coming downward, going up. This is where we expect much of the enemy attack from.
A conflict fueled by poverty, injustice and corruption. Mozambique is one of the poorest countries in the world, yet it is full of riches. With an extraordinary heritage inherited from the Portuguese period, colonial architecture classified as World Heritage Sites. Another of the country's assets is gas. A huge deposit has been discovered in the north, like this one by the French group Total Energies. But under threat of jihadists, all projects are now at a standstill. Mozambique is also a ruby paradise. We had exclusive access to the largest mine in the world.
So in between there is rubies also.
Every day, hundreds of tons of soil are sifted through a fine sieve. At the end of the chain, the treasure.
We'd find the bigger, more valuable pieces.
Rubies, gas, dream beaches, and the jihad threat. Between natural wealth and armed conflict, an investigation into Mozambique. In the far north of the country, Cabo Delgado, an area ravaged for years by ISIS. At the airport in Pemba, the capital of the region, a special flight will take off. Florian Morier works for the UNDP, the United Nations Development Programme. He is about to fly to Mocimboa de Praia, the former stronghold of ISIS. The city is less than 200 kilometers away, but it's impossible to reach by car. The roads are still too dangerous.
No, we should not take the bulletproof.
Why not?
Because I'm fine if it stay here.
I will check. We have to check with them.
Florian is accompanied by engineers who will assess the extent of the damage. The UN has chartered a private plane. This is the first time a UN agency has visited the region.
C'est la première visite d'évaluation qu'on fait dans cette zone, ouais. Et ça nous intéresse particulièrement parce que c'est une zone dans laquelle on n'avait pas accès il y a encore 3 semaines. Et maintenant, on vient d'obtenir l'accès, donc on y va tout de suite.
Il y a une zone qui a été très touchée.
Complètement, comme vous allez voir, ça a été complètement détruit, ce qu'on a vu à travers les images et les témoignages. Ouais.
At 42 years old, Florian, of French and Swiss origin, is used to war. After working in Somalia and Chad, he is now responsible for the whole of northern Mozambique, a danger zone ravaged by conflict.
We discussed to arrive in Mocimboa de Praia. The car is waiting for us, and the director of infrastructure is waiting for us as well.
No, the director?
Yes or no?
No, it's not the director, it's the technician.
Okay.
The last briefing before a sensitive mission. Despite the danger, Florian is eager to get there.
Vraiment content d'aller voir enfin ce qui se passe sur la zone parce que ça fait maintenant 2 mois qu'on essaye d'aller sur le terrain et on n'a pas eu l'accès. Donc ouais, je suis assez excité d'enfin pouvoir y aller et de commencer les activités.
Only 35 minutes of flight time left before arriving at the destination.
That's 840, traffic's British now, head to right and a left turn north now. Side 840.
The track has just been renovated. The visit will only last a few hours.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Cheers, thanks.
To ensure security, a Mozambican soldier escorts them.
Is it you? Are you going to follow with us to escort us?
Yeah, but...
Okay.
Any purpose.
Okay, great. Well, let's go. You come with me? In car. In the car.
Immediately as they leave the airport, as expected by Florian, their first sights give an idea of the scale of destruction. Target of the jihadists' fury, Mocimboa de Praia is now a ghost town.
on s'attendait à ce niveau de délabrement. Maintenant, c'est intéressant, on constate qu'il n'y a personne dans les rues. Au moment où les militaires ont nettoyé la zone et ont mis une sorte de sécurité dans cette zone, c'est à ce moment précis que nous, on doit intervenir et accompagner les autorités civiles aussi à se redéployer.
The task ahead of Florian is immense. Everything must be rebuilt.
Nous sommes au chef-lieu de district de Mozambique de Praia. Donc c'est le bureau de l'administrateur, la personne qui dirige le district. Donc.
For a year, the only force of law was ISIS. The local authorities all fled at the time of the fighting. Today they welcome Florian and his team.
Where was your own office? Okay.
The engineers are already hard at work in the rubble. The aim is to rebuild the buildings destroyed by jihadists as quickly as possible, known here as the Shababs, young people in Arabic. In August 2020, after 5 days of fighting, 1,000 of these Shababs took over the town. Affiliated with ISIS, they took control of all the official buildings and got their hands on the defeated Mozambican army's arsenal. For 1 year, they reigned terror in a city deserted by its inhabitants. Nearly 120,000 civilians fled. The town was retaken in August 2021 with the help of Rwandan soldiers. Driven out of their stronghold, the jihadists scattered into the bushes. Five months later, in Mozambique de Praia, time seemed to be at a standstill, and the city still bore the scars of the Shabab's presence. Despite a large military presence, the town was a desert. No one has returned since. There are no services, water, or electricity. All religious symbols were targeted, such as this church here.
What is it? Is it a bomb?
Yeah, like a bomb or RPG.
They used RPG,
If possible, if you use
a valuable and costly RPG just to destroy like this?
they don't know anything. They don't.
Là, ça donne une bonne indication du degré de persévérance et du niveau d'envie de détruire, quoi. En fait, c'est toute la ville. Hein. Je n'ai pas vu un bâtiment qui a été épargné, finalement. Hein. Là, il y a un acharnement en plus sur celui-là, mais les autres ont tous été... je veux dire, il n'y a pas un bâtiment qui n'a pas été touché.
A relentless attack that spared no one.
La mairie. On va discuter avec le maire, voir un peu... Il m'a dit qu'il vivait ici déjà. Donc lui, il est encore basé ici.
The first to return, and now the only inhabitants in the town, the mayor of Mozambique is a miracle worker. During the attack, 6 of his staff were killed by jihadists. He managed to escape in time but lost everything.
Muito vida, essa é a vida da população. Então é muito triste ver assim. Uma vez a nossa vida base era aqui, atendermos a nossa população, os nossos munícipes. Assim paramos. Significa a vida parou.
In order to restore some sort of public service in the city, the town hall is one of Florian's priorities.
On les aide vraiment à se réimplanter rapidement et pas perdre de temps et ne pas laisser trop longtemps les militaires s'installer dans la zone et les populations éloignées. Ils ont envie de rentrer, les militaires ont déjà sécurisé, donc maintenant c'est à nous d'agir.
C'est pas de course?
Bah oui. Le temps est compté là.
A hurried visit. Florian doesn't have a minute to lose as they are fully booked with plans. and sometimes it's more difficult than expected.
This is the police station, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How many police officers we expect to have here in the past?
Em questões de segurança, não estamos autorizados em falar o número exatamente, né?
Because also it's tricky for us, because we are the partners in charge to rehabilitate. But if we cannot equip, if we don't know the numbers of persons, so this is the same issue we have everywhere. Okay, that's fine. We will give 2 laptops and 1 car, because we don't know the number of persons. C'est un peu frustrant aussi. On est des partenaires censés aider et puis à chaque fois, il faut aller chercher les autorisations plus haut, parce que personne ne prend la responsabilité de donner une information sensible.
In just a few hours, Florian finds out what fate awaits the town. Millions of euros will have to be invested to bring Mocimboa de Praia back to life. But they will have to find the necessary funding and companies willing to work in a war zone. Florian expects many months of work before the inhabitants can return. More than 2,500 kilometers away, in the far south of Mozambique, the capital, Maputo. It feels like a completely different country, this bustling city of 1 million people. The country is now democracy, but the remnants of a long communist history are ever present. Avenues with surprising names, from the former North Korean leader to the father of the doctrine. Founded by the Portuguese, Maputo has nonetheless retained traces of its colonial past, seen in the town hall or the central station. Today, Maputo is the economic heart of Mozambique. Far away from the war zones, the city attracts talent from all over the country, like Ricky, a young fashion designer.
Peça vestido com o detalhe, o vestido túnica. Yes, Maputo is very creative. It's very creative. It just needs to be more united. Before coming to Maputo, I explored all over Mozambique, traveling, looking for opportunities to launch my brand. And then in the end, I ended up in Maputo for opportunities. So we end up, all creative minds end up meeting in Maputo.
Like Ricky, in Maputo, there is a whole middle class that enjoys a certain lifestyle. Young, urban, modern. The opposite of the model that the Shababs were trying to impose in the north. The country can finally take a breath. The jihadists were successfully repelled by the Rwandan army. Rwanda, accustomed to peacekeeping missions in Africa, has offered its assistance to a government powerless to deal with the threat. 2,000 trained and well-equipped soldiers were deployed to Cabo Delgado. For Rwanda, their hope is to gain political influence and ultimately economic benefits. On the tarmac in Pemba, a Russian-designed Mi-17 helicopter is ready to take off. Heading straight to the conflict zone, we were able to exceptionally board to join the Rwandan troops. Northbound, it's less than an hour's flight before landing in Total City, as it's called here, a huge camp built by a French company and evacuated at the time of the ISIS offensive. The 2,000-metre track is brand new and highly secured. The oil giant's facilities have remained intact and are now used as a base camp for the Rwandan army.
All of it.
It was a very big project.
No, it's a very big project. We just stay here to help them secure the security here.
Here, the company Total was thinking big, very big. 16 billion euros to exploit a gas deposit considered the most promising in Africa. But while global demand has never been so high since the war in Ukraine, everything is now at a standstill. Yet 5,000 billion cubic meters of gas are waiting to be extracted in this ultra-modern infrastructure camp. For some months now, Rwandan officers have been taking their meals in the oil giant's dining hall. Of the 3,000 people who used to work for Total Energies on the site, only a handful remain. They maintain the site. And had several close encounters.
When we come to start to opening now, yeah, lot of things. Sometimes these people some make the rush. Sometimes we are walking, then we go outside, we take our bag, and so now.
A return to calm made possible by the presence of the Rwandan army, but not far from here, the jihadist danger is still present.
As they were defeated in their main strongholds, they are now in they have formed the insurgents now. They shift now to insurgents. So they are terrorists, but they can see weak points. The insurgents cannot go away overnight.
Lieutenant Colonel Ntazina will accompany us today. With his men, he is in charge of the Palma sector, some 20 kilometers from the camp. He only travels in a convoy. The area was badly hit by the fighting. Here, hundreds of civilians have been killed by the jihadists. The Rwandan intervention drove out ISIS. The army claims to have killed more than 100 insurgents and to have lost 4 men. For the past few weeks, the region has been slowly coming back to life.
Safe, as you see, now the police can manage to control the situation here. Going back to their homes, they are doing their business, as you will see down there. Everything, the life has come. The life has come.
Reassured by the patrols, the inhabitants regain confidence to return. Some 7,000 people are reported to have moved back to the city of Palma. Like many others, Atumane fled the jihadists. After several days hiding in the forest, he took refuge in Pemba.
Voltei a mês passado. Acho agora parece tá pouco normal. A gente anda de noite até 19 horas, às 20 horas, mas não chega coisa às 22 horas. O militar está a proibir. Que está a proibir é ruandês, não andar meia-noite de noite.
Not quite back to normal yet, as the enemy is not easy to fight.
Fighting terrorists is not easy. Terrorists are terrorists. I would say they are not there to reserve their life. They don't think about life. So that makes the war, it makes it complicated. Yeah, because they don't think of their life. But it's not easy. I would say it's tough.
As soon as they leave the city, it becomes more dangerous. Retreating into the bush, the jihadists still pose a threat.
Where the enemy is trying to concentrate, coming downward, going up, is where we expect much of the enemy may attack from.
Islamic State fighters are less than 20 kilometers away. To avoid any ambush, the Rwandans are on permanent alert.
We have to be all the time. That's why we said we are always on the move. We are always trying to gather information so that we can be ahead of the enemy.
To show that you are here.
To show that we are here, and we ensure the security of the citizens as they turn.
To reassure the population, the Rwandans are on all fronts. In Cabo Delgado, they also carry out police operations.
Ce sont les voleurs qui volent les fils électriques. Et alors, ils vont dans des maisons et sur les fils électriques, ils coupent. Ils enlèvent la couverture et ils vont vendre ça. C'est pourquoi on les arrête souvent. Ça fait partie de notre mission pour renforcer la police locale. Quand ils nous voient, ils s'enfuient. C'est pourquoi ils laissent même son moto.
The copper thief didn't get far by foot. Commander Julius's men have just arrested him. A Rwandan officer is first to question him.
Unatoka wapi na pikipiki yako?
Unatoka hapa Manguna. Manguna.
Unatoka Manguna? Hapa nabeba nini?
Ile pale shaba.
Shaba? Naitoa wapi?
Hii sio zangu wenyewe wale kule kuna mwenyewe.
Wenyewe wale?
Kwa Kionga.
Hapana. Ni wa moja wapo wao. Abangao nao ni muhagarike we. Nawe ni baadhi.
The men will be handed over to the local police. Commander Julius can resume his patrol. In the 6 months they have been here, Rwandan soldiers and police have earned a nickname. They are now called Majeshi Makali, very strong men in Swahili. Thanks to them, hope is reborn in the city, but peace remains fragile. The withdrawal of the Rwandan contingent is not on the agenda, and there are still hundreds of thousands of refugees in Mozambique. In the summer of 2020, at the height of the jihadist offensive, a total of 800,000 people fled from the north. Many ventured to sea or landed on the beaches of Pemba. After the panic of the first few weeks, refugee camps were set up. Like Matuja, one of the largest in Mozambique, it housed 16,000 people who have been there for over a year now.
Salama.
Al-Kilsia and Aisha work for Adele, a local NGO. Their observation is simple. There is a serious lack of resources.
It's not working, no water to the community here. They need to walk long kilometers to have water.
So the biggest issues here is the food and the water?
Food, water, and the health. Yes,
Obviously.
and health, yes, obviously, and health. I'm Mozambican, and you know that this is so complicated to us. I'm from Maputo, but I leave my family there to come here to support my people, Mozambican people, and people that suffering a lot with this. These people can stay like 2-3 days without anything to feed, and this is very, very complicated. The last food delivered to this area was November 9. Now we are in January 11, and 2 months ago. It's a long time. Bom dia. Como estão? Estamos a pedir tirar mais.
Among the refugees, Al-Kilsia introduces us to Angelina. She is 45 years old and has 7 children.
É mãe.
Ni wanu wa konsimba. Wanu waka. Iwele kiyo mimu kiyo ihali okoto. Ikoto mali shababe. Waja mwani me. Ukela waata karimani me hiyo tawa chavale. Na tawa kitawuya mpaka waki tawuya wa hili lupana. Lupana ukisukelewa lakini onjuela mpaka hana wala kinonjuela ipurne vii. Itawuya pumi anu. Kinsoferere va vekaka. Ifamilia chaka choteni horoseberi. Soni prederie ivyomponi inu pa choteni ho predera cha. Inamaliye. Kana hokolela. Ana himaliye mena. Namna kuoni hiyo michambo. Wala baile watu wala bai. Unaona karamu. Unomwe hajo. Nole ntokura. Ni bada ubone ura karamu hokero tawa.
As long as the jihadist threat persists, Angelina will stay here in this mud house built in just a month by her brother. Difficult to rebuild when they have lost everything. In the camps, each family saw its destiny shattered, and some stories are even more devastating than others. In Cabo Delgado, hundreds of women have been abducted by jihadists and used as sex slaves. This is what happened to Adia, 26 years old.
Foi 24 de março. Então, eu não sabia o que estava a acontecer, mas das tantas ouvimos tiros. Sim. Então, dali mesmo eu fui, me pegaram com aquele grupo. Eu lá fui entregue com chefe.
Adia soon realized that not all of her captors were Mozambicans.
Esse chefe era congolês e esses outros eram maninhos de Nacala. É grupo mesmo. Até pode ser mais que 100 ultrapassa. É mistura jovens, senhores. Sim. Só que nós nos tratava mal porque eu como era entregue para esse chefe e quando ele cada vez mais saía, nós aqui atrás aqui nos violavam. Eu fiquei lá quase 6 meses, então das tantas nos mandavam. E dali nós conseguimos salvar.
A 4-day escape into the forest before being rescued by villagers. Separated from her 2 children at the time of her abduction, she managed to reunite with them. They now live together, but her nightmares will follow her for the rest of her life. Adia is now pregnant by one of her rapists. Far from the red zone and the jihadist threat, another part of Mozambique lives in peace. Connected to the mainland by a 3-kilometre single-lane bridge, Mozambique Island, the former capital, now a World Heritage Site. Spared by the wars, the old town is an architectural treasure, with its old colonial houses and palaces inherited from the Portuguese era. Discovered by Vasco da Gama at the very end of the 15th century, the island is an ancient trading post en route to India. Abdul Tawzir is an employee of the local museum and knows the history of this island inside out. Born here, he has set himself a mission to preserve this unique heritage in the world, like this fortified church of St. Anthony built in the 16th century, or the jewel of the island, the San Sebastian Fort, which over the centuries has withstood all of its attacks. Thanks to its walls, no army has succeeded in invading Mozambique Island, the island which gave its name to the country.
This is, according to the history, this monument was important because was very, very important to defend the island, because the Mozambique first was here. As the history said, Mozambique was born on the island. That's why this fortress, for me, is important. Is the most important of the country. It's very, very important to protect this island for the future generations.
We head further south to Vilanculos, where a French couple run a hotel on these paradise beaches. Here, nothing disturbs the daily life of Armando and Ilidio. Like every day of the year, they go shell fishing, using a traditional technique that doesn't come without its risks.
até para os pés, assim como as mãos também. Agora, isso aqui se está certo, e, por exemplo, isso aqui fica assim na água. Agora já imaginou, você está aí como, para entrarmos na mesa, nós dançamos assim, tá vendo? Dançamos. Agora se você passa o pé aqui, sabe o que pode vir a acontecer? Eu mexo o pé, eu mexo os pés, danço um pouco, então eu sinto, eu piso. Então ao sentir, quando eu piso, o que eu faço? Por exemplo, assim, estou a procurar, ainda não encontrei, se eu encontrar vou dizer. É de inclinar e pegar, ainda não encontrei.
Very quickly their efforts pay off. Armando and Elidio just spend an hour in the water and collected almost 40 kilos of shells. They will start cleaning and sorting the seafood, not all of which has the same market value.
É mais caro. This, yeah, mais caro. Yeah, isso aqui que também está pouco normal o preço. Já que também o preço da mesmo é normal também.
Nós sempre estamos felizes com o nosso negócio. Todos os dias estamos felizes.
For the two young men, it's now time to go and sell their spoils. In Vilanculos, a small tourist town of 25,000 inhabitants, their main customers are the restaurants and hotels on the seafront. Today, Sabrina and Denis, the French owners of the hotel, ordered some of their stock for dinner.
Olá, dona Sabrina.
Tudo bem? Uau! Não é muito.
Não, só queriam ver.
Bom, ok. Aqui quero... Somos 13 para o jantar. Não, 14 para o jantar. Quero 40.
40.
Tem 40
Sim,
ou...
estão 40 aí.
Que trabalhamos juntos.
É, 4, 5 anos.
Não, você era um menino.
Sim, eu sei disso. Por isso que eu falei que
eu
era criança mesmo.
10 ans que je travaille avec lui, au moins. Donc quand j'ai besoin de quelque chose, je l'appelle et lui, c'est mon fournisseur de coquillages. Ça, on vient de découvrir et c'est génial parce que ça ressemble à des... Le goût ressemble à des coquilles Saint-Jacques. Donc c'est un coquillage assez rigolo. Il est planté comme ça dans le sable, je pense que vous avez vu, je sais pas. Et c'est hyper dangereux pour les kitesurfers parce que ça s'appelle des razor clams, je sais pas le nom en français. Et en fait, si les kitesurfers mettent le pied dessus, ça fait des entailles de fou. Mais en revanche, c'est très bon à manger. Então, pode levar 40 destes, 3-4 quilos destes. Limpar?
Vou limpar.
Por favor, faz favor.
Razor clams are just one of the many fresh products available to guests of the family-run hotel. They have many regulars, mainly South Africans and Europeans. Yet they only have 4 rooms, locally decorated. A breathtaking sea view and a restaurant open for both lunch and dinner. Today, in the kitchen, Sabrina is busy cooking the new shellfish.
C'est sympa de travailler comme ça. On sait qu'ils n'ont pas passé des heures dans des camions réfrigérés. Citron, gingembre et ail, on ne peut pas se planter. Hein. A priori. Enfin, pour moi, c'est un peu ce qu'il y a de meilleur. Prêt à servir. Coquillage pêché le matin.
C'est luxe.
Le vrai luxe. Bah ouais, non, c'est pas mal. Ça ressemble. Allez, on va voir ce que ça donne. En bouche.
At 6:15 in the evening,
Voilà.
set up by Sabrina and Denis, the aperitif is the key moment of the day at the hotel. A friendly meeting place where travellers like Habib, a regular, who was the victim of a razor shell that day, meet up.
Tu me disais quand tu allais voir les hippocampes, tu t'es coupé.
Ah, tu t'es coupé?
Tu t'es coupé le pied.
Le pied, oui.
Est-ce que tu n'aurais pas marché là-dessus, par exemple?
Ah, c'est ce qu'il m'a dit. Il m'a dit peut-être, c'est un truc...
Ouais, exactement. C'est enterré dans le sable comme ça. Si tu veux te réconcilier, goûte ça.
Quel est le rapport?
C'est la bête qui vit là-dedans.
C'est vrai?
Vas-y, venge-toi.
D'accord, mais il n'y a pas de couscous?
Il n'y a pas de couscous. Mais ça irait pas bien, un couscous.
C'est super bon.
En tout cas, c'est une bonne vengeance.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please.
Yes.
Dinner is ready whenever you're ready.
Good.
Calamine lotion. It's
Thank you. Guys, enough.
In the high season months of December and January, the hotel is fully booked. In the south, tourism is one of the country's strengths. But in the north, Mozambique has another wealth. We head to Cabo Delgado, Montepuez, the world's largest ruby mine. Pawakar, an Indian national, is a chief engineer. He has been here since mining began on the site 10 years ago. Today, the mine supplies more than half of the world market, about 50 tons per year.
This place is a fantastic place, and since beginning when we started here in 2012, this place has come up. Then we are coming in 10 minutes.
Okay, sir, okay. Direct coming in pit 3.
We will come to pit 2 and then pit 3. Okay. Security is very strict. Without a card, they will not allow these ID cards.
The Shababs never made it here. Dozens of kilometers of track on mud paths. A huge open pit mine. Over 33,000 hectares, 3 times the size of Paris. Like Rajesh, 1,600 employees work extracting local wealth.
So you can see these stones. So in between there is a rubies also, which is free rubies. It's not inside these stones, it's with the stones. And this, if you see, this is a gravel bed. So we take like half meter above and half meter below.
So you take everything?
Everything, so that we should not miss anything.
In order not to miss a single precious stone, everything is examined with a fine-tooth comb. Every day, hundreds of tons of soil are extracted and subjected to a rigorous process. At each stage, there's a new security check, and Rajesh can't escape it.
Everybody has to be searched. Even if it's CEO also, he has to search. We are in the wash plant now. So this is our process plant.
From here, the tons of soil are washed away. The first stage of the sorting process to recover the precious rock. And at the end of the chain, as the calibrations are made, the rubies eventually appear. To get close to them, there are strict requirements.
This is so that it doesn't have any pockets and anything. It is pocketless, specially made for the sorters.
And you have to change shoes again?
Yeah. Already I have taken out shoes.
Okay.
The treasure is safe behind this armored door, a final gateway to the rubies. It looks like a laboratory here. No more mechanical machines. Everything here is done by hand and eye. These scarlet nuggets are Edward's responsibility. He is South African. His mission is to supervise the classification of rubies according to their quality, the size of the stone, its shape, clarity and color.
So Kong is busy here. Kong is busy grading our secondary product. Okay, so this is then where we'd find the bigger, more valuable pieces. This stage here, where we see this stock here, this would be almost ready to export. In other words, to export it, we get the government here, we get the customs officials and everybody that comes together with them. We'll do our inspections here. We'll get all the necessary approvals, and from there, our export process will take place.
On this table.
I couldn't tell you.
How you say? How much the price?
I couldn't tell you. That's difficult because everything's all over the place.
Millions dollars?
No, there's not millions. Definitely not millions.
No.
Edward won't tell us more about the exact price, but today the value of ruby is skyrocketing. The red stone is highly prized in Asia. For Rajesh, the chief engineer, all his efforts put into the mine are well worth it.
Whole process means starting from the exploration, mining, then processing, then sorthouse process, and then finally this is the product. So all we are doing for this, and if we are getting this, it's very satisfying to each and everyone who is working here. It's a team effort. It's very satisfying and happy to see all these things. And excited. It's a process, security process, that nothing is carrying in my hand.
In 10 years, Gemfields, the British group that owns the mine, has sold more than 500 million euros worth of rubies worldwide, a fortune marred by controversy. In Mozambique, there is a so-called scandal of blood rubies. The Montepuez mine is located in one of the poorest regions of the country. The discovery of the ruby vein was followed by a red gold rush. Thousands of people came from all over Mozambique and even from neighboring countries to try their luck. Gemfields then intervened. 7,000 illegal miners were deported by private security companies or local police. The methods used against illegal miners were brutal, as shown in this video shared by human rights activists. Accused of abuses and even murder, the company agreed in 2019 to pay nearly 7 million euros to quell a class action lawsuit. Today, the mine is trying to improve its image by teaming up with local communities. Prahalad Kumar Singh, also from India, is the director. He supervises the social projects of his company, a benefactor welcomed by the village farmers.
O Ruby, achamos muito bom que o Ruby é ele que nos orienta. Tudo completo, o adubo, o produto químico, aqui sempre. Como também costuma passar o trator do Ruby Mine, costumam lavrar aqui. Achamos muito bom.
There are 7 villages cared for by the mine. With its various initiatives, the company is doing everything it can to win the goodwill of the inhabitants. But despite their efforts, misery in the region remains. The rubies hold an unattainable promise of wealth.
There are a lot of illegal miners in around. Even if this village, you can find many illegal miners working from. So definitely illegal mining is one of our very serious issues for us. When we find them, say we are one of the signatories of VPSHR, that is a charter for human rights for UN. And once we capture the miners, we immediately try to send them to the local police.
Behind the rhetoric, have times really changed? What is the fate of illegal miners today? It's the next day, 5 o'clock in the morning, a few kilometers from the mine. We have an appointment with a group of illegal miners. They are about to defy the ban on digging on company-owned land. It takes about 10 minutes by foot before they arrive at the marked site around this lake. Once here, there is no time to lose. They operate as quickly as possible with rudimentary equipment.
É para nos matar, nós moramos muito.
é muito difícil. Podemos acabar sem não encontrar nada. Ter 20 sacos, 30 sacos, 40 sacos, meio sem saco. Lavarmos e não acabamos nada. Sim.
Still rushing, once the bags are loaded, the group of illegal miners wash the earth away. Summary filtering, a system to keep only the stones. And finally, an initial sorting in the hopes of finding a ruby.
Contra esses são nos roubar. Nós não temos conhecimento do preço do produto. Uma grama vendemos tanto. Nos rouba 500, 300, 200, 100.
Even to this day, they are still very afraid of the company guards. It's better for them not to risk being caught.
São violentos, nos batem, nos arrancam material, depois nos levam para na cadeia. Sofrimento é aquilo que nós falamos sempre, sofrimento. Não temos serviço, não temos emprego, nós estudamos aqui, não temos emprego. E mesmo que seja levarmos documento e metermos na empresa, não somos aceitos. Então, preferimos virmos aqui e roubarmos.
15 minutes later, the illegal miners leave with their meager booty. They will sort the bags in their village with a small chance of winning the jackpot. "2,000 kilometers from the misery of Cabo Delgado, Sabrina and Denis live their daily life to the rhythm of the tides. For 10 years, the French couple has had the same feeling of freedom. Seen from here, it's difficult to imagine the dramas experienced in the north of the country.
Ça donne une image super négative et super violente du Mozambique, alors que ça, le pays ne l'est pas.
Non.
Voilà, donc c'est un peu... c'est dommage, ouais.
Je pense que le pays a été fatigué par des années de guerre civile, et plus d'1 million de morts, et puis ils n'ont pas envie de se battre à nouveau, c'est une certitude. Et malheureusement, quand tu es acculé à la pauvreté...
A poverty that persists despite the country's wealth. In these conditions, it's difficult to imagine a Mozambique in peace.